It's me, Mario!
He's the world's most famous plumber and video game character. He's the face of Nintendo.
It's me, Mario!
The savior of the video game industry. Had it not been for the success of Super Mario Bros. In 1985, the video game industry as we know it today would not exist. As an 80s kid, Mario has always been a staple in my life. The cartoons I enjoyed watching, more so the Super Mario Bros. Super Show as opposed to Mario World. So the cartoons and the video games I was playing and watching all the time. There's a plethora of Mario games to go through, but here I focus on my favorite Mario game of all time, Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. It was about 1993 when I first saw this game. I was a young kid, and in those times there was no internet or social media, so I was completely unaware of this game until I was at a friend's house and I saw it playing for the first time, and I was hooked. It plays just like the Mario games before it, but it's graphically superior and it has a much bigger landscape in terms of gameplay. It was also the introduction of a new character in Yoshi, who added a new aspect to the game. You can ride with him and he'll help you take out all the minions, but one bad touch and you lost him. To be honest, sometimes he was a bit of a hindrance. The plot is as basic as it gets, which is the norm for most Mario games. The princess is captured by Bowser whilst Mario and Luigi are on holiday in a place called Dinosaur Land. So the Mario brothers travel all through Dinosaur World, dispatching of the minions and the end of level bosses, who just happen to be Bowser's kids. And then finally, the big man, or reptile, himself in a visually fascinating final level boss battle. Two things. The princess. I swear this woman needs the armed forces of the world to protect her, because Mario is an absolutely rubbish bodyguard. And plus he's a freaking plumber. What do they know about protecting royalty from giant-sized reptiles? And vacation spots? The Mario brothers chose Dinosaur Land. Dinosaur Land. Instead of the Bahamas or Paris. Yeah. Okay, rant over. As a young kid, I was impressed with how Bowser had gone from his look in the original Mario Bros. To here in Mario World. It showed me, for the first time as a young kid, the evolution of video games and how much more powerful the Super Nintendo was to the original NES. I was of the belief that the SNES was as good as it got in terms of home console power. I was wrong. Boy was I wrong. The game has a whopping 72 levels, with 24 of them a secret exit, leading to a grand total of 96 goals in the entire game. When I played it growing up, my main goal was just to simply go all the way to Bowser. I wasn't interested as such in the secret paths or the alternate routes, just the basic one-way street to the main boss. Nowadays, many gamers want variety in their games. But I'm old school, and I just want to go from A to Z. Now as I got older, I began to take an interest in finding the secret levels, the Star Road. And in the process I discovered how impatient I am. I never completed all the secret levels, and I would rage quit every time I died, so I just stuck to the basics. What Mario World also pointed out to me was the different dynamics there was to gamers in gaming. You have your casual gamers who play initially and finish the game and move on to the next challenge. And then you have your hardcore gamers who will live and breathe the game. And by that they will do some of the most ridiculous challenges you can imagine. Like how quickly they can complete a level, how many hours they can clock the whole game in. I've seen people average over 2.5 hours online. And then complete every secret stage in the least amount of time. That is way too hardcore for me. I just stick to the basics, and over time, I explore the secret stages. I'm just, well, basic. One of the things I did do was acquire as many lives as I possibly could by repeating the early stages over and over again, until I had a high amount of lives and power-ups to proceed further. As the stages got harder and harder, and I ended up losing lives, I'll just go all the way back and reload. But of course this meant I spent a very long time going back and forth between levels, before I eventually clocked the game. The levels vary in the game. Some levels I absolutely loved and others I really hated. One was the Donut Ghost House. I hate this level with a passion. The number of lives lost and throwing down of my pad were limitless. Let's just say that once I managed to clock it, I never went back to it again. Another level that I absolutely hated as well was Wendy's Castle. I mean, look at these obstacles, it's ridiculous. It was super hard getting past this particular stage. Basically any level with a ghost house I hated. The ghosts were probably the characters I absolutely hated the most. I did enjoy the early levels of the game, from Yoshi's Islands 1 and 2, and Donut Plains number 1. Yes, those were the easy levels, but they were still very fun to play, and they were a great source of power-ups and lives if I was running low. The new addition of the cape was a nice touch. A similar kind of concept to the raccoon suit we saw in Super Mario Bros. 3, but much better. And what were the things I enjoyed about the game? Well, for one, I loved the background music. Doesn't it remind you of a certain Lamb Chops?
Lamb Chops, play along with kids come to play along and fun things are all we ever do.
The game took the concept of what made the first Super Mario Bros. Great and expanded on it further. Not just in terms of looks and graphics, which made Mario feel like a more fleshed out character, but the gameplay as well. All the secret levels, the addition of Yoshi, the secret exits, the new power-ups, especially the cape. Seeing Mario glide in the air was fun to watch. The very fact that this game had 72 levels was just incredible for a side-scrolling game. Never mind a Mario game, but platform games during that particular time period with that amount of levels was unheard of. Back in those days, playing games for years on end was usually the regular time span. Nowadays, you get games like Destiny, Call of Duty, and you spend several months on those games, and then once you've clocked, you're on to the next version of the game. The influence of this game is such that after several years in the 3D realm with Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy, Mario made his very much welcome return to the world of 2D platforms in 2006, New Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo DS, and then in 2009's New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii. It was a much welcome return to what originally brought Mario to the dance. I have personally clocked the DS version of this game. The Wii version, well, it was much harder than I anticipated, and after dying several times in several stages, I decided, I don't want to play anymore. I'm much older now, and my patience isn't what it used to be. But what made Super Mario World a great game inspired these two follow-ups, and it's a much welcome addition to what is a very large catalogue of Mario games. As a person who was born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s and got drunk in the 2000s, I look back on my memories of Super Mario World with great fondness. Even though I clocked the game several times before, I just kept going back for more. Yes, even the difficult levels. Yes, I did say I was not so much into finding all the secret levels, but the ones I did, well, it gave me a sense of achievement on top of finishing the basic storyline. Given the success of the game itself, it's no surprise that it still holds up to this day, and thanks to the Super Nintendo Mini, generations and you can get their hands on it and enjoy, whilst retro gamers like myself can relive those great childhood memories. Overall, Super Mario World, the legendary classic, the best Mario game in my opinion.